afternoon, everyone. The meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News. And has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office at Mays Landing. Prior to doing the opening prayer, I just want to ask that I would like to ask today that all days and we keep in our prayers those that served our country as we approach Veterans Day, especially the 10 U.S. military and current residents of Meadowview, who will be recognized at the County Veterans Program on Thursday at 2 p.m.
Before we do the opening prayer, I would just like to ask for a moment of silence in honor of Range Master Tom Jordan, or as I affectionately knew him, Papa J. He served 25 years with the Atlantic City Police Department, served in the Department of Homeland Security for 20 years. Following that, served as an EMT with the Hamilton Township Rescue Squad, and opened our Atlantic County firearms training facility in 1996 and was there up until just a couple of weeks ago before he became very ill. Everybody who knew Tom loved Tom. He was a really great man, and just gave so much to our community. So if we could just take a moment of silence in honor of Tom. Thank you. And now for our prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we ask thy blessing on this meeting and all those assembled here. May our actions be filled with kindness and forbearance, and may we be ever mindful of our obligations to each other and to thee. Amen.
Okay, we'll stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Chairwoman Commissioner Bertina will be coming in via audio, and Commissioner Day's video conferencing. Ballas?
Here.
Bertino?
Here.
Corsi?
Present.
Days?
Here.
Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Gatto?
Here.
Risley?
Here.
And Kern.
Here. Okay, the commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from September 21. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the September 21 minutes as presented.
Second.
A motion's been made in second. We'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, anyone that would like to speak during public comments, please come to the podium and state your name and the town that you reside. If you're attending virtually, please type yes and the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not listed on the agenda, you may speak during public comments. You will be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please state your name and the town you reside. Okay, and that brings us into a presentation honoring Dr. Gava. How are you today?
Honoring Dr. Barbara Gaba for her induction into the Rutgers University African American Alumni Alliance Hall of Fame.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, if we may, if the clerk would read this resolution into the record.
Whereas the Rutgers University African American Alumni Alliance Hall of Fame has honored more than 100 alumni since 2004 to celebrate select alumni for their accomplishments, leaderships, and contributions to the university and their community. And whereas Dr. Barbara Gaba was inducted into the Rutgers University African American Alumni Alliance Hall of Fame on October 2, 2021, for her 40-year career as a teacher, researcher, and administrator devoted to helping underserved and underrepresented students attain a college education. And whereas the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is proud and honored to join Rutgers University in recognizing Dr. Barbara Gaba's contributions to the Atlantic County community and the Atlantic Cape Community College, now therefore be it resolved that the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners honors Dr. Barbara Gaba for her contributions to the community and for the well-deserved honor of being inducted into the Rutgers University African American Alumni Alliance Hall of Fame.
Do I have any other commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, I think the resolution and proclamation speaks for itself, but I'd be remiss if I did not personally thank Dr. Gaba for the outstanding job she's done for Atlantic Cape Community College. This just speaks on a very little bit of what you've done in your short time of being here in Atlantic County. I know it was a big move to come from North Jersey, a big decision on you and your family, but you didn't take on one college. You took on 3 campuses, and that says a lot. And to go against all the different obstacles that could or would have or have been in your way, you pressed your way, and you made us all proud. I think that's a fair statement from all of us as the commissioners, how you made us very proud as to being the president of our community college and continue to do good things. That says a lot. Most folks come and they going, but you have continued to make all of us proud, and we continue to try to find monies to keep community college rolling. It was outstanding. There wasn't that many commissioners in Atlantic City last week for the groundbreaking, but you certainly can rest assured that you have their support. But again, it speaks to the leadership. And, you know, if it's good at the top and it works its way down. And so what happens is it shows young people in these communities that they can be whatever they choose to be. It doesn't matter what ethnics they come from, what communities they come from, what their gender is that you've given them the opportunity and the tools there at the community college to grab it and to run with it. And certainly I know that in the communities in which I serve, a lot of people have taken advantage of free tuition to college, something that y'all have pushed, something I think is great. And at the end of the day, we hope that good deed pays off for these kids. You start at a community college, you end at a 4-year college, but I can't say enough about the work you've done and continue to do at Atlantic Cape Community College. And like I said, it's not just in Maysland and Atlantic City, it's Cape May County as well, and you make your presence known. This is probably, how long I've been here, Sonia? 20 years? No, 9 years or so. Dr. Gaba, it says a lot.
Feels like that.
Yes, it does. It says a lot because I don't normally present proclamations or resolutions like this, but because it was you, Dr. Gaba, I asked our chairwoman and our clerk to make sure that there's something on the agenda that we can present to you today. Most of my colleagues like this kind of stuff. I'm kind of shy. I'm not accustomed to public speaking, but Grizzly, be quiet. But the fact is that we certainly appreciate your work in our community, and we congratulate you and certainly being inducted to the Hall of Fame, and keep up the good work and continue to make all of us in Atlantic County proud.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You did good.
Thank
Do we
you.
have any other comments from our commissioners?
Ditto.
Yes, Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
I'll try. It's difficult to follow Corsi, but I'll give it a shot. 3 generations of my family are associated with Atlantic Cape Community College, and the changes since you have come are vibrant and exciting, and you can feel it in the area, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Of course.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Jimmy
Yep.
Bertino.
Regina?
Yeah. Yes, just as our colleagues are both indicating, Dr. Gaba is continuing her policy of excellence, it seems like, in everything she touches. We're very fortunate to have her here in Atlantic County. As our colleagues have said, she's done a fantastic job with the facility, and she's very creative in utilizing the little funds she's given to create such a terrific environment for education. So we're fortunate to have her. Congratulations and well deserved.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have any other comments from our commissioners? Seeing none, Dr. Gaba, and I also want to recognize our senator here. Senator, if you'd like to come up as well.
Thank you,
And,
thank you.
Do you want to come up and take a photo with us?
Thank you.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, Dr. Gaba, had people reach out and say we want to meet now that I am officially elected, so we're looking forward to meeting with you and finding out about the college and seeing what we can do to help you.
Senator, make sure you do it right now, because I'm gonna be on your back.
We'll follow your lead.
I just wanted to thank you for this recognition of my induction into the Rutgers Hall of Fame. I graduated from Rutgers many, many years ago, and I was just so surprised when I got the call. I said, you all remember me. And I still have my relationship with Rutgers, because as you know, we have the Rutgers building on our campus, so that students can go to us, get their associate's degree, and transfer seamlessly into Rutgers. We have other relationships. We have a relationship with Stockton, the Pathways program. They come to us. So we're trying to create pathways whereby students start at the community college, they get their footing, we create a pathway, and they can go on to a 4-year college. I've been at the college for 4 years, and we have a lot of work to do, and we've done a lot. As you saw at the groundbreaking ceremony for the WIN Training Center, that is very, very big for Atlantic City and for Atlantic County. It's putting us on the map. And we have other initiatives coming forward. We're building an innovation center at our Mays Landing campus, and we thank the county for supporting that with funds to help us build that through the Securing Our Children's Future Bond Act. And basically, we're here to serve the residents of Atlantic and Cape May counties. We have people here that need skills for the workforce. We're in a pandemic right now, very, very difficult times for everybody. But I know that once we get past the pandemic and people begin to thaw out and think about the future, they're going to come to the college. So again, I appreciate the support that I've had from the county since I started, and your support of us, unwavering support, has really been very, very heartfelt. And I again want to thank you, and I thank you for this recognition.
Thank you. You turn it around and you thank everybody. But we're thanking you, and we
all work
appreciate
together,
you,
and I
Dr.
appreciate
Gaba.
your
We
support.
really-
Your
we
support.
appreciate it. You
I
wanna
think
go
they
on
want
that?
us to go over here. I'm camera shy, so I'm gonna go over here anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, hold it up like that. There you go.
We'll just get you there. No, no.
Don't block Sonya out,
Okay,
okay?
let me pull in. So you're
Smile,
gonna get the
Sonia.
picture anyway.
The camera only takes what it sees, so you better be careful.
You better be careful.
So I don't get to shine.
Maybe look for the new chief of staff.
Thank you. That's right.
Congratulations so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your support.
Congrats, Dr. Gaba.
I was RU 93, so.
Oh. Yes, we do.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll take a roll call.
Dallas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carried. Before we start our agenda, Senator, did you have anything you wanted to say?
I did, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
One was kind of an agenda item. You want me to go to the podium?
Whatever you want
Yeah.
to say.
All right, so just first of all, wanted to let you know that after a long wait, I was officially sworn in yesterday, which allowed me to get the keys to the office, and
Congratulations.
phones are on, office is open, constituent services are now being provided. I promised Sonia I would get her the contact info, so I want to let you know that it's the same as Senator Brown's. So phone number is the same, 609-677-8266. Office address is the same, and it is now fully functional, operational, and we're excited to get it going. So obviously, anything anybody needs related to state government, related to anything we can help with, whether it's unemployment or Division of Motor Vehicles or all the stuff we talk about that comes into county government, feel free to send them over. We do everything we can to help people. And then secondly, it's good that Jim and Jerry are here. I was elected for a week now, and I just wanted to let everybody know I have been getting calls basically all week long from people associated with the judiciary about the county court system. And every call has been saying that it's not going to work. There's going to be problems with this thing. So it's good you're here. I just like an opportunity to get myself educated on it now that I'm in the position. So if you would give me some time to kind of educate me on what we're doing with the county court system, so that I can get up to speed and understand it, because I just want you to know it has been 100%, it's been unanimous. Not that people will be calling and say it's going to be great, but everybody's been calling saying there are going to be issues with this thing. I know there's something on the agenda today, which I think is just an introduction at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but Mr. Ferguson is gonna go.
Okay, so he'll give the presentation and just give me some time and just let me understand it, because I got to respond to everybody that's calling me and give them, my perspective on the thing. So if you would give me some time, that would be great. Not necessarily today, but at some point before we do the formal adoption of this thing, that would be wonderful. Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Good seeing everybody. Have a wonderful meeting and see you next time. Thanks.
I just want to make note also that we do have a commissioner-elect here, Parker. So Commissioner Parker is here. He will be at our November meeting. He's for it, right? Rick, do you mind giving me my glasses?
No, not at all, Madam Chair. That's what I'm here for.
I don't want to say nothing.
Yeah, I know. Wait a minute.
You could have whispered. Come on.
Okay, and we are going to bring that ordinance up. Oh, wait a minute, we have the overdose, Karen, you have something.
Actually, Jen is going to.
Jen,
Yep.
okay.
That's okay.
And thank you for being here to update on this very important issue.
Yes. Good evening. Thank you very much for giving me a moment to talk a little bit about the Overdose Fatality Review Team. We're asking to amend a couple resolutions for the grant because we have received a second-year award for this grant, so I thought it would be a good time to update you on the progress of the grant. So just a little background, the Overdose Fatality Review Team grant we received a year ago, and the purpose of the grant was to bring team members from the community together to review overdose decedent information in order to see if they can come up with some gaps in the system in order to come up with resolutions to the gaps and inform decision makers. So the grant started a year ago. We actually formed our team in February, and this update is from February till about September. So in that 7-month period, we developed a team of 19 collaborating agencies across the county. And every month, starting in April, they started to review anywhere from 2 to 4 cases. So a total of 17 cases were reviewed. These were cases that the medical examiner determined the cause of death as accidental overdose. In all but one of these cases, revealed presence of fentanyl, which obviously is huge. 65% of these cases, individuals were involved in the criminal justice system at some point in their life. 8 individuals had exposure to adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. That is a common thing that we're starting to hear a lot about. However, the other 9 cases, the team was unable to determine if there were any ACEs involved. So that's something to point out. There's also patterns that indicate these decedents may have faced homelessness at one point in their life and treatment for substance use disorder and or mental health. So in the short 7 months since the team was up and running, they had one notable success that they wanted to share. They noticed that there was a trend in stigma related to first responders who constantly return to the same overdose individuals. So what they did was they were able to connect the Attorney General's office and arrange what they call Operation Helping Hand training for these first responders to give them some education and some resources to help them. They did face some barriers over the course of the short 7 months. However, the one most notable barrier was the confidentiality issue. Data collection and discussion of the overdose decedent information falls under HIPAA and 42 CFR Part 2. And so some agencies that were some of the hospital systems, I believe some of the state agencies also were not able to sign the interagency agreement to share information. They were still part of the team and able to collaborate and offer information, but they weren't able to kind of look into their database to see if there were any connections with this individual. So currently, my understanding is there's state legislation addressing this issue, and this the legislation will legitimize the teams by officially establishing them as a board, and that will direct state and local agencies to share the records. At this point, my understanding is it passed in both houses and is just waiting. The recommendations that were reported through the Overdose Fatality Review Team up until this point, they had several. They mentioned fentanyl strips as being something that should be considered, an extension of sober living housing, which we know is an issue, and we hope to see more of that. Education about adverse childhood experiences, increasing resources to first responders, and resource access distribution a little more wide. They also believe that education on stigma is really, really important. Integrated care, and that involves addiction, mental health, and physical health, bringing them together, again, as an education, bringing families together, bilingual services and resources, continued collaboration with correctional facilities, and one of the big ones is to address housing issues. So these were some of the things that the team kind of came up with. They're going to take this. This is only the first year of hopefully multiple years where they'll be able to gather this information. This information is going to go into a database that is going to be through the state. They're going to compile, because my understanding is I think there's 19 of these overdose fatality review teams across the state. So they're going to gather all this data and hopefully release a report on an annual basis to inform decision makers on some processes. So, thank you.
Thank you. Do you have that report somewhere? Is it online or anything like that, so we could have a copy of it?
I could give you a copy. I can somehow get you the copy.
Yeah, you could just send it to me.
I'll send it, and you can see what the team has developed for our county. And then what will happen is, my understanding is, once all this information goes into the state system, the state is going to release something that's going to be statewide. That's going to be a little more specific. But we will definitely do that.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
We greatly
thanks.
appreciate that information. Do any of the commissioners have any comments or questions?
I do.
Chair. Go ahead.
I have a question, a comment, really, a different topic, but I think it's important that you're here today and can tell the public that where we have situations where people are shut-ins, that we're doing booster shots. I think is that correct?
Jen's role? No.
No?
No,
Okay.
she deals with substance abuse.
Totally, and
Yes.
Is
yes.
anyone?
I can probably support.
I'd like you to talk about it.
Sure.
All right. And give the phone number out publicly so people know that we have this service available.
Oh, to provide COVID vaccines for people who are homebound?
Right.
Homebound, right.
Right.
Yeah, we can talk more about that.
Okay.
That would be great.
I think it's important to get that message out. That's what I'm saying.
We did that with the senior citizens group. Got the first and second shots, or I think it was the Johnson & Johnson, so one shot
Yes.
on the meal delivery bus.
Right, we used intergenerational services,
Right.
lists of individuals who were considered homebound.
Right.
So that we didn't have individuals who were seeking to have a shot just in their home because it was more convenient for them. So we did start with just our homebound residents, yes.
But Commissioner Risley is right. If we are providing the booster shots, we really should do some marketing about it, let people know. How we're
Booster
doing
shots, we did put a press release in about booster shots for second and third doses, but we can definitely address the homebound issue as well.
All right. Thank you.
And if you can even copy us on your press release, that would be helpful as
Sure.
well. Thank you. Okay, any other comments from the commissioners? Okay, we are going to go into ordinance number 11. After we do ordinance number 11, we are going to bring resolution number 614 up. So right now, we'll do ordinance number 11.
An ordinance of the Atlantic County Board of County Commissioners amending the Atlantic County Code to make a provision for the inclusion of the Central Municipal Court of Atlantic County as a division of Atlantic County government. First reading.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
We've been talking about this for a while, and as the senator has just indicated, I too received some calls regarding this ordinance, and it's nothing new has come before this board. But as a courtesy, even the senator is asking for some time to review it, to be able to get back to some of his constituents. And so I don't want to belay the point, but if in fact the commissioners would consider pulling for at least 2 weeks, that gives the senator the opportunity to get back to his constituents. I don't know who's calling, but I got some calls too. I already gave my position, but whether it's my position or not, now that we're moving forward with the ordinance, now to encumber it as part of county government, I think some more information needs to probably be put out in the community. Not saying not pulling it doesn't get information in the community, but since it's on first reading, it gives us some time to look at it, answer some of the senator's question. Because if you pass on first reading, and there's some major concerns on second reading, you pull and you're going back to first reading. So I don't know if it really hurts to pull it for 2 weeks. It's just a recommendation. Whether you agree or not, I'm just throwing it out there.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Hear you. I just want to say a couple of words. So, as the Shared Services Committee chair, we did, talk about this in pretty great detail along the way. And Budget Committee, we had a good presentation from Jim yesterday. Jim, I don't know if you're going to give any of those details for this first reading, but I do think the point of first reading is to initiate the review and conversation, right? So that people can make their voice heard at the public hearing, which would be at our meeting in 2 weeks, I think, right? So, I mean, that's the whole process of an ordinance. So I don't know if I totally agree with pulling it. What I will say is, I'm glad Jim's going to give some details because I think some hesitation is probably due to lack of information. I initially was not very much in favor of the idea, but was open to it. And like anything and any other conversations we've had about shared service initiatives across the county, the devil's in the details. And what I will say is that I do believe the team that has been working on this, spearheaded by Jim, really did do a great job on pulling the details together and getting down to the nitty gritty, which is where the work really is. I think we did see significant savings numbers available to the taxpayers across the county. And the one thing that I was really concerned about, and I appreciated that Jim gave us the opinion in writing, was around people across the municipalities who, we're civil service, other communities are non-civil service, and just giving a fair shot to all the qualified employees across the county as we establish the countywide court system. And we did get in writing that that was going to be possible and feasible. So that's the kind of details that I was concerned with and I feel satisfied with as we move through the process here. So that's just my thoughts on introducing and allowing the public hearing to happen. And I also understand we're up against kind of a timetable because the idea is to implement this beginning January 1 so that we can realize the savings that we've put out there. So with that, I don't know any, if you want to have Jim speak or any other commissioners.
Does any other commissioners have?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would agree with what Commissioner Gatto has said. In total, this is a matter of getting it out there so we can have this discussion. There are many towns that are losing money currently on the court system. So that's a given. We know that part of the equation, losing money. And if this is a way that we can stem that and actually turn it around a bit, it's a good thing. The main thing to remember with all this is that it can be changed. It can be modified. This is an initial concept. And the towns also have a 2-year provision they can pull out if they decide they want to pull out. So I think we should go forward this time and let everything come to the surface. Let's have a robust discussion on it and go forward.
Any other commissioners?
Madam Chairwoman?
Yes. Yes, Commissioner Days.
Yes, thank you. So I can't say that I honestly disagree with anyone that's spoken previously. Like Senator Palestine, I've received some questions as well, in particular from our newly elected council people here in Galloway Township, who, we have 4 new members who haven't been filled in on all of the details. So like Senator Palestina, they've also asked for a little bit of time to digest exactly what it is that they're going to be getting into. Again, not to take away from any of the work that Judge Mendez and Jim and Mr. Ferguson have done, and I do want to hear some of the issues that some people in attendance may have and anybody else, whether they're in person or online, may have. So on first reading, we'll get this, but then when we pull up the resolution with the meat and potatoes, I think there are some questions that some people may still have as far as that's concerned. So, I just wanted to get that out there before we move on too much.
Okay. Any other comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair. Yeah. Couple. One, and I guess this is probably to Rick, on the signing of the ordinance and resolution 614, is there a conflict with Jim Ferguson signing off on that? I know Jim normally reviews every ordinance and every resolution and signs off as council, but being the architect and basically the motivation, and it's been basically Mr. Ferguson and Judge Sanson going around to different municipalities explaining this. Is there any conflict there?
I have not looked at that closely. It's a new issue to me. I'm sure that could be considered. Something if you want to talk about it. Jim, I'm sure could talk about it himself, but I don't know, Frank. I don't want to say yes or no.
I don't know either. That was brought to my attention, and I'm not sure. Maybe Jim would. Is it proper for you to answer on that?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, you mentioned about me being the architect. I'm architect of a lot of things that come before this board. I mean, I draft a lot of the important resolutions, things that are new. Now, the normal run-of-the-mill stuff that you get that's repeated year after year after year, another attorney in the office handles that, and I rarely see those or sign off on those. But the more important things, and I draft most ordinances. So, I mean, if that was a concern, I'd be prohibited from ever coming before this board to present. Yes, I am the architect of this. And this plan is the first of its kind in the state of New Jersey. It was adopted and approved by the director of the administrative office of the courts. That was one of the requirements under the legislation. This thing has moved very, very quickly, and we have to move forward. And the reason this ordinance has to move forward today, should be passed today, and needs to be passed on second reading, is that in order, the court is required under the legislation to become operational starting January 1st. There's no time here to delay. Now, if you look to push this back, you're dealing with a 20-day estoppel period before that ordinance can be effective, okay? And that could jeopardize this thing getting off the ground as is required under the legislation. And we worked very, very hard, not only in this plan, which I'll address myself to more in a minute, and I'll ask to come up to the podium to do that because I have some papers I want to refer to, if you let me do that. But there was a lot of work crafting this legislation. This had its origins back in July, late July, early August of 2020, when the county executive came to me and said, I would like to see the establishment, if we can do it, of a county-wide municipal court, which the county could somehow house in one of its buildings. And Denny and I discussed the fact of the old, what's referred to as the old criminal courthouse in Mays Landing. It's now called, I think, the Atlantic County Government Office Building. It sits on Main Street. It used to be the criminal courthouse before they moved over to Yanami Boulevard. Denny had me send out written invitations to all of the mayors of every municipality in this county. And then he directed me, put me in charge of forming committees. And we had a committee both of municipal officials, of those who were interested, and also a committee of people from the Superior Court. They consisted of Judge Julio Mendez, who's the assignment judge of the vicinage, Judge Lou Belasco, who is the presiding municipal court judge. He is a municipal court judge down in Cape May County, but Cape May County is part of the vicinage. He's the presiding judge. You then had Judge Mark Sanson, who's retired, but who helped me out in a lot of this and was a great help. And then you had Howard Birchtold, who's the trial court administrator, Brian Jetter, who's the municipal division manager, and his assistant, Janelle Rodriguez. And this committee met over numerous sessions. We held numerous Zoom meetings over starting in late September, early October of 2020. Those meetings continued up until roughly April of this year, mid to late April, when we formulated a draft plan that was circulated to all of the interested municipalities. Now, there were some municipalities that had dropped off by that point and who indicated that they weren't interested or they just weren't ready for an endeavor of this type. And so at that point, we went forward with a mix of roughly 10 or 11 municipalities that showed considerable interest and stayed the course throughout. And the agreement went up to the administrative office of the courts, was vetted there. There was some suggested changes that had to be made in the way the fines and penalties, the frequency with which they had to be reviewed and reported on. Those language changes were made to the agreement. The agreement was, final draft went around to everyone, had to be signed by the mayors of the interested municipalities. There were 9 in total, those being Egg Harbor Township, Estelle Manor, Galloway Township, Hamilton Township, Linwood, Northfield, Port Republic, Ventnor, and Weymouth Township are the 9 towns. Port Republic was the last one to join. We had hoped that we might get Brigantine and Summers Point. Unfortunately, both of those towns decided, Summers Point took no action on it when it came up at their last council meeting. Apparently, a motion was made, but there was no second on it, and the thing died for lack of action. Although I should tell you that 3 weeks prior to that, or approximately 3 weeks prior to that, in a straw vote that they had taken before the same governing body, they voted 5-2 in favor of joining. I don't know what happened in the interim. You can use your own imagination about that. I'm not going to go there, but just to say, we had expected that they would be in and they didn't come in, and that was a disappointment. But we're moving forward with this, and the final plan was sent up to Judge Grant, and I got a wonderful letter from him dated October 14th, in which he has indicated that this is the first of its kind, the first adopted pilot in the state of New Jersey, and it's become a model. In fact, Judge Sanson and I both spoke on a statewide symposium, which was hosted by Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, and Judge Grant was on that, along with Judge Mendez, other people from the Division of Local Government Services. That was back on October 19th. We did a 90-minute presentation, which, and all the comments coming back were, was that it was an excellent and informative presentation. And I am scheduled next week, along with Judge Sanson and some of the same members of this group, to present next week before the League of Municipalities. We're going to have a meeting to discuss a run-through of the presentation this coming Friday. So next week we'll be on in front of the League of Municipalities. The agreement is a tripartite agreement between 3 parties: the county, the court system, and the interested municipalities. And the plan has several unique features to it. In order to get buy-in from the municipalities, and we all know that there's the issue of home rule, and municipalities don't like change, or they don't like substantial change. And so in order to get those municipalities and give them buy-in to the system, we established 2 committees. under this plan, a governance committee and a personnel committee. You have 5 representatives on each committee. What I'll call the big 3, Egg Harbor Township, Galloway Township, and Hamilton Township, are permanent members of both of those committees. And then the other 2 members rotate. The personnel committee, the other 2 members are Ventnor and Linwood. And the governance committee, the other 2 members are Northfield, represented by their mayor, Erlyn Chow, and the other municipalities, the combined municipalities of Estelle Manor and Weymouth, and that's because they share a court presently. And each committee has significant functions that they perform. The governance committee, we will be having our first regular meeting tomorrow of that committee. It's a Zoom meeting in which we will start laying the groundwork for the formulation of the budget for this court. And then the Personnel Committee has already had a number of meetings, and those meetings have resulted in the selection of 4 judges for the court. A chief judge, who is Timothy McGuire, who's a resident of Brigantine and who's a municipal court judge in Brigantine, the Northfield Linwood Combined Court, and also a judge in the Estelle Manor Weymouth Combined Court. Then we have Michelle Verno, who's currently the municipal court judge in Hamilton Township. Richard Fauntleroy, who's currently the judge in Pleasantville, and even though Pleasantville elected not to join at this time, Richard made such a favorable impression upon the interview committee and all, and the court speaks very highly of him, of his work. In addition to his municipal court duties in Pleasantville, he also does the commitment hearings that are held out at the hospital every week, and an attorney from my office appears at those, and he gets very, very high marks for what he does. So he's one of the selectees, and then Judge Howard Freed, who is currently the judge in Galloway, in Summers Point, and Port Republic, will be the 4th judge. The committee has also made recommendations for the selection of a court administrator, who will be a lady by the name of Antoinette Tuman from Hamilton Township, and she has been formally appointed by a court order issued by Judge Mendez. And then we have 3 deputy administrators that will be part of this system, and they are Gina Bruner from Galloway Township, and the other 2 people, a lady from the combined court of Linwood Northfield is one of the other ones, and then the 3rd lady is from Hamilton Township, currently a deputy there, who will be the 3rd. Very, very highly qualified people in those positions. And the committee will be, have already gotten resumes in so that we can select the 3 violation clerks and then approximately 9 assistant violations clerks and other clerical staff. So we're well on our way to having this move forward. And we've gotten tremendous cooperation. Basically, the resolution really is what lays out the groundwork of this and how it will operate. The ordinance, what all the ordinance really does is codifies the fact that this will become a division of county government working under the Department of Administration. So the court will report to the county, specifically with regard to things like budget, how the budget's formulated, when issues come up that would involve human resource questions and things of that sort, they would go through county administration to talk about those problems and resolve issues. The court, functioning as a court, reports to the Superior Court, and that's pursuant to both state statutes and the court rules of the state of New Jersey. So that's the basic makeup of this, and I urge you to move forward with it because of the fact of the time deadlines that we're under. I think a lot of misinformation is being spread out there. It's not that towns don't know about what's in this. Judge Sanson and I made appearances in all of the towns who are in, some of the ones that didn't come in. We made appearances in front of, sometimes multiple appearances. Galloway Township, we addressed their council on 3 occasions, 2 by Zoom meetings, and the last meeting was an in-person meeting on June 14th, when they voted by a 4-3 margin to approve entry into this court. Hamilton Township, I think I appeared twice in Hamilton Township. The last time I think was on July 6th, and then they voted a couple weeks later. And we've gotten great support there from Mayor Kane and Peter Miller, who was the administrator in Egg Harbor Township when this got off the ground there. Then when he retired from EHT, he went over and became the interim administrator and has been very, very helpful in this process. So we've got a lot of support. We've been around. We've laid the foundation for this. And anyone who really wants to know what the facts are can find out what the facts are. And all they need to do is pick up a phone. Every time I was at these meetings, I gave out both my office number and my personal cell phone number. And I did that publicly so that people could call if they had questions. I got very, very few calls. So it's not as if people don't know what this court's about. There's a lot of misinformation being put out there by people, I'm not going to name names or anything, but would love to see this fail, okay? And those are the facts, okay? There are people that just don't like this for one reason or another. Some of it has to do, I believe, with personal vendettas that people have. I'll leave it at that. But that's the world in which we live, okay? And if we're ever going to have progress and save money, we all complain about how bad it is to live here in the state of New Jersey with your tax rates. Well, folks, this is one way to start down the road of doing something about that. Not talking about it, but doing something about it. And not letting forces who are just out there for their own self-interest to stand in the way of doing something that's going to benefit the taxpayers of this county. So this is a worthy project. Its time has come. And it's time for you as leaders, okay, to stand up and make the tough decision. There's been plenty of talk about this over the last 15 months. It's time to do the right thing and to move this forward and not to delay. And therefore, I ask your support for both the ordinance on first reading. I'll be here to ask for your support of it on second reading 2 weeks from today. And I'm asking for your support tonight for this resolution. Thank you.
Mr. Ferguson, would you like to give that your contact information for the people that are here or anybody that's watching us virtually?
The office number is 609-343-2310. My personal cell phone is 609-892-0121. And if you call, because I get a lot of calls where I don't recognize the number of who's calling me. If I don't answer, just leave a voicemail message, what you're calling about, and I'll be happy to get back to you and discuss this. There's nothing hidden here. We're here to do the right thing. We have been doing the right thing, and it's really time to move this forward.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from the
Can
commissioners?
I finish answering my question? Asking questions?
Yeah.
Okay, this question, Jim, is more towards the resolution.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to wait until we do the resolution or ask it while he's up now.
You could just
Okay,
answer.
so the two committees, the governance and the personnel committee, I personally would like to see somebody from this board on each of them committees. This is a county project, county program, and no one from this committee is on either one. And again, as you say, we can get information from you as, just as a phone call away, or Jerry or anyone else. But, if it's offered to municipalities who we're asking to join, and I guess that's the carrot to them, I don't think that we should be left out as commissioners.
Well,
I mean, no one's getting paid to go at any of these meetings.
No,
it's,
that's true.
so I don't know why you have to limit it to 5, but I think there should be representation from our board on the committees, at least the governance anyway.
I picked the number 5 because, believe it or not, it's difficult even getting 5 people together at one time to have a meeting. If we made these committees much larger, because there was one at one of the meetings right after the towns were in and we reached the magic number of 8 towns, one person who was there from Northfield said, well, why can't all of us be members of both committees? And the problem is that just becomes too large. It becomes unwieldy. The reason the big 3 were put on both committees on a permanent basis is because we looked at the numbers, and they would constitute 74% of the cases that will come before this court. So, they should have greater representation than the rest of the municipalities, just by the nature of the number of cases that are going to come before them. So that's why we did that. As to whether,
If I may, I agree.
I just want to say, I agree with what Commissioner Ballas is saying. So as we do with our advisory boards, we go in as liaisons, from the county. And if we could do something like that, that would be greatly appreciated, because it does involve, it's the county. We need to make sure we're as involved in, the.
Maureen,
It's the same feedback I did give you, Jim, when we first started having
Right.
the conversation. A letter went out to the mayors that this was being discussed and formulated, and none of us knew about it. We had to find out from our own mayors, which is embarrassing.
Yes.
So, I did give you that feedback before. I do think we should be included, even if it is just a liaison.
and I have no problem with the liaison concept, and I'll tell you why. For us to do anything different, a permanent member, this agreement would have to be amended. There are provisions in there where we can do amendments, but
We haven't voted on it yet.
it's on a short basis to make major changes in this between now and the start of the year. And I really would probably have to take those changes back to the municipalities, because they have the right to comment on it. Whereas a liaison, you certainly would be welcome to come to attend the meetings, have input, and it's just, the way this is formulated, you wouldn't necessarily be voting on it. And I could check, with the municipalities and see what the feeling is. But normally, in most legislation that gets passed, it's administration that formulates these plans, and then they come to you seeking your approval of it. So
I'd like to make this recommendation, if I could, about a liaison. We have someone on this governing body who has a knowledge of law enforcement, Mr. Frank Ballas here, and he would be a great liaison, I think.
He might be a conflict of interest, I'm just joking.
No, but I'd say if
Madam
we
Chair.
could do the liaison, and I'm not going to speak for everybody here, but I'm in favor of that. And go ahead.
Madam Chair, first of all, Jim, I appreciate your passion and all that you put into it, but I take exceptions to two things. One is, we have made tough decisions up here. So
Well,
don't
I'm
make
saying-
it sound like we don't make tough decisions and stand up. So I take offense to that part of it.
Well,
Like I said, excuse me, I didn't cut you off while you was talking.
All right, go ahead.
And so, for as much as I can appreciate what you've done and how entailed you are into this, I can't speak for none of them. I take personal offense to that, because we have sit here and taken every damn thing that the administration has put up here, and most of my colleagues have not had the backbone to say no to the administration. And they voted on stuff when it was tough against what they believed in, and they did it anyway. So they've made tough decisions up here. The second thing is, why the hell are we sitting here asking you for an advisory board, damn it, when we make the damn vote? It's just a damn recommendation from the administration. If they had enough heart, they'd tell you no on the damn resolution in the ordinance until we get what we ask for. If this board is saying we either want a member on there or an advisor, we don't need no damn consent from the administration. They're asking us to do something. I think y'all got this shit twisted.
Well,
And what happens when y'all get it twisted is, for years, the commissioners, former freeholders, would never tell the administration no. They make the decisions in here. They can make suggestions here. But they never had the backbone to back down the administration. And that's been the problem around here. I'm asking for nothing. Either we're going to get a member on the damn board or an advisor, going back to no damn municipalities and to the administration to ask for some damn permission to be on something that y'all form, you need our vote. I'm not voting for it anyway, but I agree with my colleagues that it's the right thing to do, Jim. It's just as you are passionate about what you've done, and I commend you for it. However, to sit here and tell us we can't go there, and we talking January, and we would have to go back to the for what?
Well,
We're not getting paid.
I understand.
I just take exception to that, and I know you didn't intend
No,
to
I
do
did.
it,
I
but
did.
I just had to let you know how I felt about it.
I
I can't
understand.
speak for the rest of them, because I got a little bit backbone.
I understand. And if I personally offended you, I apologize. I didn't mean it that way. I know this board has made a lot of tough decisions. I'm just saying, maybe it came out the wrong way, but now is the time to make another tough decision. That's what I was
That's more
trying.
likely to make another tough decision, but to make a decision,
Okay, yeah.
it's like a dictatorship coming from the administration.
No, and it's not meant that. Believe me, this is
Again, I don't
anything
think
but
that was in your heart, but I had to
it's
get
not.
mine off, just like you had to get yours
I
off.
understand. I understand.
Okay.
I think we understand each other.
I think we've been understanding each other for a while.
Yeah, we have.
But I just had to get that off.
All right.
Okay, do we have any other comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'm agreeing with my colleagues, and I think Jim understands where we're coming from. The liaison is a non-issue for denial. That we were asking for it. It should be on there. Please make it part of the resolution if that's where it needs to be, and let's move on with the vote. It's common sense stuff. We are all, as commissioners, we always get questions from all our constituents. The court system going forward needs that kind of representation. No need to say no. It's a non-voting thing, but we need to be part of it. That's just my opinion.
So would it be fair to say that since Commissioner Ballas has made the recommendation, Madam Chair, a part of that resolution needs to be amended to talk about
Yeah.
Committee member.
Yeah,
I'm not voting for it anyway, but my point is, I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think we all do. And thank you for bringing that up. And we do have a shared services committee.
Yeah. I'll call a meeting this week, and ask if we can maybe hash out some of these suggestions on that agreement in terms of, representation from the commissioners.
But I think we need to talk about it now because it needs to be voted on tonight. So as Jim explained, this can't be held up.
Right.
Correct?
And, yeah, so I think we
No, not
vote for an
ordinance,
amendment. We
Talking about
can-
the resolution is drop dead, either yes or no.
Right.
So for the resolution, we
It's for-
would
this is for the
ask for
resolution.
an amendment.
Jim, can the resolution be held up until we have second reading on the ordinance?
Yeah, you can, technically.
I mean,
You
would
can.
it kill you? Your time?
No, but time already grows significantly short here in terms of doing things, and it's.
So, Mr. Ferguson, would it be fair, Madam Chair, if I may, Mr. Ferguson, you are a very astute attorney. And would it be fair to say that in order, and I think you hear my colleagues clear, they want the resolution to be amended to talk about the
Right. Liaison.
We're going to, if the board wants it, we should go ahead and amend the resolution. If the administration is objecting to it, again, you still gotta come back on second reading on the first reading on your ordinance. Let's play, if you're gonna play ball, let's play middle of the game, middle of the road with it, right there. It's the simple, let the resolution just reflect that they want a representative from the board. That's,
Right.
and that's a decision that's made by the governing
I
body.
think that's certainly doable.
Right, I mean, what's the fight, why fight over that?
That's certainly.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Commissioner Davies.
So we're discussing the ordinance and the resolution at the same time, am I correct?
Correct.
That's
So
correct.
I can comment on 614? Okay, so I just had a couple things that I just noticed. Number one, Jim, so basically any town is effectively locked in for 3 years. It's 2 years, then with 6 months notice, and then you're still liable for your financial obligations for the remainder of that year, correct?
That's correct.
Right. And then I noticed this is the first time, and again, I'm not on the Shared Services Committee. Again, I don't want to stand in the way of any municipality that feels that this would benefit them and save money. I know some, are looking at saving quite a considerable amount of money. One of the things that struck me was this idea of our private security firm hiring security for the court. Honestly, that is something that in conversations with municipalities and with you that I hadn't heard before. I mean,
let me explain.
Are they able to do? Is that I'm not a lawyer. I'm not in the judiciary. I mean that's an acceptable form of protection for a court system.
It is. In fact, let me explain a little bit of the history, because I know there are people here from the PBA that are going to object to this. We reached out to the sheriff, I think it was way back in March or April, when this thing, before the agreement was formulated, and went to him about this. The sheriff sent a representative over to the court facility, did a walkthrough with, I think, members of administration and members of the court system, and then came up with a plan that I had reviewed by Mike Fedorko, who's our department head of director of public safety, and we thought, quite frankly, that the plan was overkill. They were proposing 11 people to provide security at this court, 8 officers, regular, what I'll call line officers, to be supervised by 2 sergeants and a lieutenant. The proposal, when you applied the dollars to it, were just, we thought, astronomical. Over $900,000. Now, you know, this is not Fort Knox that we're guarding here, okay? This is still a municipal court. We then had outreach. In fact, Hamilton Township's administrator, Peter Miller, approached me and said, would you be interested in doing a shared services agreement where Hamilton Township could provide Class 2 officers to do that? He worked up some numbers. The proposal was less than half of what the sheriff's proposal was. We were looking at that. That looked like it was going to move forward. In fact, we had an agreement that their solicitor and I, along with Mr. Miller, put together. And then a couple weeks went by and the police chief got involved there, and the numbers suddenly skyrocketed to between $700,000 and $800,000 for the proposal. Again, too high. We then went back. Mr. Fedorko and I had a further meeting with the chief, and we laid out what we thought were the problems with that it was just top heavy and was just too much under the circumstances. And the chief said, well, I can lower it a bit, around $700,000. We then went out and got a quote from the security company that provides security in our county buildings now, Tri-County, to have retired police officers who would be armed. And the proposal came in at $393,000, less than half, or roughly half, of what the Hamilton proposal was, and more than half of what the sheriff's proposal was. Now, I will tell you that Mike Fedorko is scheduled to have another meeting with the sheriff on November 16th. We'll see what comes out of that. There's been no contracts or anything signed with anybody. The private security plan is mentioned in the agreement that was approved by the Administrative Office of the Courts. And we know for a fact, because both the presiding municipal court judge, Judge Velasco, and others have confirmed that private security does municipal court security in a number of courts throughout the state of New Jersey. So it's nothing novel here. You know, look, I understand that different groups may want a piece of the action here, but if we're going to do something that makes sense in providing taxpayer savings, we don't need to be throwing it all away on security. It's unnecessary. And again, I'm not getting information from somebody who's a novice at this. Mr. Fedorko, I would remind everybody, was the former head of the state police for a number of years. He then went and he was the director of the New Jersey, New York Port Authority, where he had thousands of people working under him. I would submit that if anyone knows something about security, it's Mr. Fedorko, okay? And I would put his credentials up against anybody that the sheriff wants to bring to the table. And I mean, I say that sincerely. look, I understand that, that they may see it as an opportunity to create an additional assignment, and we're not objecting to that. And if they came in with something that we considered reasonable and isn't overkill, be happy to give the sheriff that work. That's where I believe it really should go. But we're not willing to sacrifice this idea and the savings that can be generated from this so that, a group can have a plum assignment, for lack of a better word. And then maybe I'm saying things, guys, that you
No, I'm
find
sorry.
offensive.
Hold on.
But-
I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, I have.
No, this is, for the first reading, we have no public comments. So that's, when the first reading on an ordinance. The second reading, we do have public comments.
Madam Chair.
I think what we're talking about is the resolution now, so maybe why don't we just do the.
We gotta
why don't we
finish the
do
ordinance, that's what I was
Get
just.
done with this ordinance so we can
That's
get
what I
on
was
to the
just gonna do.
resolution.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chair.
Yes,
Again, that's what I was just gonna ask procedurally. I mean, we're going back and forth. We still have to vote on the
I
ordinance
understand, we're
first.
gonna finish the
Let's do the
ordinance now.
Okay, because I did want to
Okay.
address some other things as well, but can we just move forward with the ordinance? Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so if there's no other comments on the ordinance, we have a motion and a second, and we can have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
No.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that brings us, we will need a motion to bring resolution number 614 to the top of the agenda at this time.
I'll make that motion. Jim, hold on a minute.
Oh,
We
Oh,
have
no.
We-
I'm getting back, I just took a breather.
I want to get it.
Okay.
Get a drink of
Simple
water,
water.
because you're gonna need it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move the next time. Okay, so we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Just to move it up. You could do a
Yes,
voice
that's
move
what
it
that's
up.
all we do.
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
No.
I'm sorry, did you say no?
Oh, I said no.
Okay. Just checking. Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Now we have resolution 614 on the table.
Resolution adopting the agreement establishing the Central Municipal Court of Atlantic County and otherwise approving of its method of operation.
Motion. Second.
Motion has been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Oh, no,
Okay.
not before me.
Okay.
That's our decision.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for this.
I reserve the balance of my
All right.
time. It's fine.
I just
I yield-
tell.
I yield to my guy from Galway, I yield.
Okay,
'Cause he gonna pay
Commissioner
for it.
Days.
Again, I don't want to stop any municipality from joining this. That's not my intention. I do, again, Jim mentioned the speed with which this needs to pass, and he mentioned the concern about, saving taxpayers' money. I'm also looking for those towns that are not participating in the court system, and I know they've had a lot of meetings, and again, I appreciate that. My other question that I've been asking repeatedly for the months that this has been under discussion is the cost of all of the equipment and the building, the courthouse itself. What are we looking at here? Is there any idea? I mean, it's pretty much a blank slate saying anything that's needed to operate a court is going to be what's put in there. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just looking out for the taxpayers. I can get to school in a Jeep. I don't need a Maserati. I'm just, it's that 5-person or the 5-town committee that's going to decide this. And then other towns are on the hook for the cost. I mean, where's this going?
So are you looking for a startup cost? Is that what you're looking for, Commissioner Days?
Yeah, I mean, it impacts to the county budget moving forward. I mean, from here and, in perpetuity as far as maintenance for the IT equipment, that's all outside of the members, participants in the court system is my understanding.
Okay. Mr. Ferguson.
I'll answer that as best I can. As you know, there is currently a large infrastructure project going on at that facility involving a complete renovation of the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system in that building. A lot of the work that needs to be done from the court perspective got to understand, there are courtrooms out there currently. They have to do a few things to, clean them up, make them look real nice and pretty and all when the court starts. But it's not like we're building courtrooms out there. The courtrooms are already there. There's room for the establishment of a violations bureau that will be there. And then there's space on the, I think both the first and second floor, where the court administrative staff would be located. There are rooms in the back for judges' chambers. There were judges' chambers there before, because that's where the Superior Court sat. And there would be room to create a separate work area for both the municipal prosecutors who are involved and the municipal public defenders who are involved. So that aspect of it is already in place. I don't know what the exact dollar figures are. The putting in of the equipment that'll be needed for the computerized system and the system for the recording system of the court, the recording system and a lot of that is being paid for by the Superior Court out of their budget. That's not something that's being billed back to the county or this court system. The county project is one that was, Jerry's here and can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was done as part of the county's capital plan. And a lot of the work in terms of setting up the area for the Violations Bureau and the administrative space will be done by our facility staff. There are people that will be coming in and will putting new rugs down, and that'll be that's contracted out, and I forget who the contractor is. Furniture, I believe, has already been ordered from, I think it's Barry Goff's firm is supplying the furniture, and a lot of the cost of that is covered by the challenge grant of $150,000 that we got many months ago when I made application for with our friends from the Division of Local Government Services, who, by the way, have been very helpful in this. So,
yeah, Mr. Ferguson, instead of going into the detail of like the carpets, this,
yeah,
I think we're just looking for a number of anything outside of the capital improvements. If we put that, and you don't have to give that right now, and especially, if we can get that at another time, that would be greatly appreciated. If anything is coming.
Sure, absolutely. No, I'll get that for you.
Okay. Any other? What? Oh.
Ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Was Richard done?
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Days, do you have anything else?
No, yeah, I'll yield the balance of my time to Commissioner Corsi.
So noted,
Commissioner
without objection. So, Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
After you have gone through your long dissertation, and you have done an outstanding job, as I indicated, and you have shown your passion for this project, I noticed that you mentioned two other municipalities. One was Brigantine, and I failed to get the other one who you said chose not to go into the system.
That was Summers Point.
Summers Point. So you elaborated on why Summers Point was some of that clandestine, esoteric voting that went on, but you never gave me the synopsis of what happened in Brigantine. The reason I'm asking you a question, I remember there was a long article, big story about how Brigantine was going to have a meeting, a special meeting that was going to go into the system. You never said to me, well, I'm not the one interested, why they chose not to do it. We already know why Lang City and Pleasantville didn't go in.
Right.
We got that. But you were starting to name some of the other municipalities. That's my first question, so I'll let you answer that.
Okay. As far as Brigantine goes, back, I forget the exact date, it was in sometime in, I believe it was in September. Judge Sanson and I went over. Their meeting started at 6 p.m. Or I'm sorry, I think it was 5 p.m. We got on to make our presentation starting at 5:10. We were there answering questions and didn't wrap up until 8:20 that night. We were making our presentation for almost 3.5 hours. So please, don't anybody sit there and say they didn't get their questions answered. They asked numerous questions and they were all answered. Now, maybe they didn't like the answers that they got to each of the questions, but their questions were answered, as everybody's questions have been answered.
It's fine.
Okay.
We're not going to go 3.5 hours.
No. So I think they just decided from the comments I heard, and I talked to a number of their commissioners when we took a break. When we were finished, they took a short break. number of people came down off the dais, including the mayor, and said that they thought it was a great presentation. We answered their questions, but the sense I got from talking to them was they just weren't ready yet to make the commitment for reasons best known to them. I suspect that it might be the same in Summers Point, because again, Judge Sampson and I went there back on August 26th, and when we were done, we made almost an hour's presentation, answered questions from a number of the council people, and when we finished, the audience stood up and applauded. So, and again, we did our due diligence there. We answered all the questions. I made a presentation out in Egg Harbor City. I made a couple of presentations, I believe, in Mullica Township. Both of those towns have elected to go with Hamilton. And then we went out to Folsom Borough. That was back in early June.
Mr. Frank, that's fine. You answered my question for Brigantine, because I think you having a relapse. You want to keep telling me about the other ones. I understand. I just wanted to find out what happened with Brigantine, because you was on such a good roll. I'm nosy, so I wanted to know what happened with Brigantine. Then the real other thing I really have for you, again, and I'm done. I would hope that this body would make the motion soon to add the position that we've talked about. That's all I'm interested in talking about at this point, because again, I'm not asking the permission from the administration to do absolutely nothing.
I have a suggestion on that.
Okay, I just have a question to ask you. Hold on a second. If you're saying at this time it might be too difficult to add that we are a regular member of it, is there a way we could be the liaison for a few months and then add the position as a permanent?
I have a suggested amendment to the language that I think could resolve it, if you want me to read.
Sure. Commissioner Corsi, are you done?
Did I just miss something?
I just said, are you done?
Y'all just cut me the hell off.
I was just making a comment.
I was asking the question. But I think you might have answered half of it. So I'm going to yield to my colleague over here, because she thinks she has an amendment. That's that mayor coming out of her. So
this is when I try to practice law without a license. Okay. Page 301 in our packets, guys. I don't know if everybody has it, but it's section 3, governance. I'm sorry, it's letter C, then section 3, governance, letter A, operation. What I'm going to suggest is that there's a sentence that says, this is with regard to the governance committee. This committee will represent the shared interests of the other municipal entities. This committee shall work with the county council and the county administrator, who shall represent Atlantic County, along with the court administrator. My suggestion would be in that sentence to say, this committee shall work with county council, the county administrator, and a liaison from the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners appointed annually at reorganization, who shall represent Atlantic County along with the court administrator.
The only thing I'm not going to speak for everybody here, but I would like it to become a permanent position, not just a liaison. We were going to start with the liaison because we could do that right away.
But Madam Chair, let me ask you this question, and I see both points of it, but it's a resolution, so why don't we just make the permanent position now then? It's a resolution. If we're going to make a temporary, we just might as well go ahead and do it now.
Well, that was my original question, because Mr. Ferguson said he needed to change, quite a bit within the ordinance. So if it took a couple months, you say, do the liaison, within 2 months, we become a regular member.
I don't think I understood that to be the case, but I'm not going to put words in your mouth or Mr. Ferguson's mouth. However, again, we are the governing body. We make that decision. All we've got to say to the administration is that we're putting a full-time or a permanent person on the board, whether you redo it at every reorg meeting, who the person is, that's fine. It's our resolution right now. The administration at this point has nothing to do with what we vote on. Either we voted up or we voted down. They gave it to us to make a decision.
Okay.
We make the amendment. Is this a dictatorship?
That we are part of a permanent board. Mr. Ferguson, can we become, by this resolution, a permanent part of the board, the committee?
I think you could.
Right, we keep
So let's
asking.
do that. Well, I'm asking because we're talking, we have two different things going here, and he was mentioning something being changed earlier to you, so let's,
Amy,
Commissioner
are you-
Gatto, can we change the,
I
wording
just,
on
Are
that?
I
you
just wrote
changing
out
the
language
resolution?
that I thought would.
The resolution, not
The
the ordinance.
resolution.
Just
not
the
ordinance.
resolution.
Oh, no, I did it in the agreement. That's the agreement.
In the agreement.
If I may, Commissioner Gatto, I believe Commissioner Gatto, and she's going to correct me if I'm wrong, is referring to the draft agreement that's attached to the resolution. Correct?
Correct.
That's what you're referring to.
Correct.
On
The
page 4.
resolution is,
Yep.
is to approve the agreement.
It's not yet,
But
but I
that
would
could-
remind
that-
you, it's
well-
not a draft agreement.
Okay.
This is the agreement that's been signed off by 9 municipalities and has been approved by the administrative office of the courts.
Okay, can I say something? We already
Madam Chair.
voted. Well, hold on one second. We already voted on the first reading of the ordinance. So we're not changing that right now, but we want to add.
This isn't the ordinance.
That's not
That's-
the
that's
ordinance.
the
Are
ordinance.
you looking at the resolution?
I'm looking at the
government.
agreement
The agreement.
referenced
Okay.
in the resolution.
Mr. Ferguson, do you by
Oh,
chance
okay.
have an extra copy of the, I think
Well,
some
that,
of
yes,
us.
so you're talking
The
about the
agreement?
resolution.
Yes, please.
Resolution, the agreement within the
Madam Chair?
resolution.
Yes.
Yes.
Madam Chair, can I just make a
that.
recommendation?
Yes.
So the agreement is signed off and it's been agreed to by many individuals. So amend the resolution to include members from the board as part of as liaisons to the committees. And Jim will have to go back and go through the courts again to see if and they won't have a problem, obviously.
No, okay.
But they've already approved the structure of the agreement. It's
Okay.
already signed off. You can't amend something that's been signed off, so put yourselves in as liaisons somewhere in the, I don't have it in front of me, the resolution.
Okay.
Jim will go
I mean,
back
but,
and check.
but it's a
Let's get-
resolution of the commissioners
That's right.
adopting the agreement.
Correct.
So,
So just put yourselves in that you will be liaisons until the agreement can be modified to make it
That's what
full-time,
I was
something like
saying.
that.
Right.
Madam Chair, with all due
Yeah.
respect to the county administrator, let's be clear. This is an agreement that they came up with. This is not something that we agreed to. Again, they're coming to the governing body to ask for two things: an ordinance and a resolution. They made their agreement, and we're saying as a governing body, we want a permanent member on there. No matter what the hell they said over there, they still need our support here. So why are we going in as a liaison opposed to just going in as a full member? We don't need their permission. They need us. And I think y'all confusing the fact that y'all allowing them to make the decisions for us when we have the votes, to either vote it up or to vote it down. In order to vote it up, we're saying we want a full member on there, not a liaison. If they don't like it, tough shit with them. Let them send it back to us saying they object to it. But to keep kowtowing to them, because you got to go back to them to talk to the municipalities to make a decision, we're making the decision now because you brought it to us.
We're not kowtowing.
Apparently you are.
No, you have an agreement. You
Okay.
go to somebody, you have an agreement. Let's be clear here.
But
I'm not
Jerry,
a
that was
lawyer.
agreement.
But you go.
But
wait a minute,
Jerry, all
Commissioner,
due
wait a minute,
respect though,
Commissioner.
that's agreement that y'all made. We didn't have no say-so in the agreement.
Commissioner, under normal circumstances, we bring you agreements all the time, constantly.
But this ain't,
But the agreements that we do with people, I mean, we bring you, I think it's like 250 or 260 different agreements during the course of a year that we get either from the state, the Fed, or some local entity. The point I'm making is that they give it to us with the intent that we read it, Jim and his staff read them, and we agree to the content. So we agreed to the content, that's all we're saying. We're not disagreeing that you'll go in as a full member. What we're suggesting is put yourselves as a liaison. We go back and we're just going to tell them that we're going to change the verbiage. They're going to have to sign off on the verbiage. I mean, am I right or wrong? They're going to have to just sign off on the verbiage because they've already signed on something. Let me ask you a question. If I came today and I handed you an agreement that you're going to go buy a house, and then I go and I walk away and I have it changed, and I come back to you and now it's changed, wouldn't you say to me, oh, Jerry, what did you just do? You changed the verbiage and I just signed the agreement. So that's what we're saying.
But Jerry, I see your scenario, but that's agreement between you and me. That's not an agreement for this board and them. That was an agreement that y'all made without our input.
Yeah, but you gotta
So
understand
that's the
something.
administration side of it.
County government, we're a
Okay.
county executive form of government, which means we get the agreements, we read the agreements, we agree to the content of those agreements, and we bring that content to you. Under
Right.
normal
No,
circumstances, you're not
yeah,
changing
and
those
I
agreements.
understand what you're saying, and I'm gonna ask our solicitor how this should go.
So, Madam Chair, before you ask, while he's looking up his opinion, because it's gonna take him about 30 seconds to give us his opinion. So let me be very clear to Jerry. We can agree to disagree, and I hear your point. I get it. But I'm just saying, in the spirit of agreement on stuff, we're saying we want a full member up there, and you're saying we gotta go back. Again, we can agree to disagree. If my members of this board chooses to settle for alternate or temporary, that's on them. I'd go with it while the getting is good because they got the votes to vote it up or vote it down. Those other municipalities and this court doesn't move until this body give them the final green light.
I'm asking for the legal, how this should go,
I think you
and
gotta,
then we'll take a vote.
no, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think you gotta decide what you want. If you want a liaison, my thought is you probably want to revise the resolution to that effect. If you don't want to adopt the scenario or the contract that's in there, then you got to get a new contract that you're willing to adopt. Those are your two options that I think I'm hearing in this room. Does that make sense to the
That
board?
does make sense, and
You hear what I'm saying?
One
Commissioner
question.
Ballas.
So this is reference to the agreement, Mr. Ferguson. It says that it was ratified by 8 municipalities. And then I don't see any signatures where anybody signed off, but it says this agreement shall be submitted to Honorable Glenn Grant, Director of Administration of the Courts, and is subject to his approval. That's what's the very last page.
Yes.
So we're agreeing to submit this to him for his approval, or this has already been submitted to him?
It's already been submitted to him.
So then this verbiage isn't correct, then this has already been submitted to him.
Well, it was.
And shouldn't somebody sign, if it's an agreement, should somebody sign off on that?
Was signed off on. I got a letter from him dated October 14th.
I'm just looking at our
Which he
the backup that we have.
Yeah, we just probably didn't get that.
Yeah, and I have that. I can share that. I mean, that was I believe there was even an article about that. And then Port Republic signed an addendum because they became the 9th town after it had already been approved by Judge Grant. So they came on board before the deadline to join, which was November 1st. And the reason that was put into place was because in order for us to sit down and formulate a budget, we had to know who's in and who's not in. And we can't have, towns coming in at the end of December where, we don't have time to, revise a budget or whatever. So that's why that was done that way.
So is there a way to resolve this with us being able to vote on this tonight, with us having somebody, a member of this board as a member of them 2 committees? Or does this have to be tabled and brought back once the agreement is changed?
I suspect that what you're asking to do tonight does not change the operational structure of this, is how it operates. And I'm sure if I go through the people at the court, Judge Mendez and Howard and company, and explain to them what the board's desire is, that they will agree with me, that this doesn't change anything. And I'm sure Judge Grant will sign off on that, because all it would mean is substituting some minor language like Amy suggested, and that should resolve the problem.
Okay, so this is the way we would like, that Amy would be the county administrator.
This is to the resolution.
To the resolution.
Under the now therefore be it resolved, number 3, add section C.
Add section C. County administration shall add a regular member from the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners appointed annually at reorg to the agreement establishing the Central Municipal Court of Atlantic County.
To each of the 2 committees.
One to the Personnel Committee and one to the Governance Committee.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Referring to, is it in the resolution?
In resolution, in the resolution under the now therefore be it resolved, there's 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Number
Three,
three
Make a C.
has section A,
Madam
has section
Chair.
B. I'm saying add section C.
C.
One moment, I hear you, Commissioner. One moment. Okay, Commissioner Days.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the commissioners having some input, whether we're a liaison or we're an actual member of the board. I'm still not clear as to the process. I mean, as Commissioner Ballas said, and Mr. Fergus, I believe, agreed, he has to go back to municipalities, and then he has to go back to, Mr. Birchtold and other people and make sure that that's still okay. Is there any harm if we already agreed to introduce the ordinance for second reading? Is there any, or the resolution? Is there any harm, excuse me, the ordinance for second reading? Is there any harm in just tabling this for the 2 weeks? Mr. Ferguson, I think earlier said there's no problem, as long as the other thing is moving forward, just so we can be clear as exactly what it is that we're doing, what needs to be done. I mean, we can vote, say, we're going to amend it as Commissioner Gatto said, it sounds great, and then come back and someone's going to tell us later on, hey, guess what? That didn't work, or we couldn't do that. Is there any harm in just waiting, not delaying the second reading?
What I'm going to say is, I mean, as Commissioner Corsi keeps saying, we're the ones making the decision. This is what we want to vote on. So we're the ones making the decision. Could somebody come back and tell us you could make that decision? I don't see that.
No, I don't think anyone's going to come back and say you can't make that.
Okay.
And as I said, the operational structure that's set forth in the agreement, I don't think what you're proposing tonight changes that at all. That's why I believe that Judge Grant nor anyone else will have problems with that. Here's the problem with waiting an additional 2 weeks. The governance committee is having a meeting tomorrow. I mean,
So what I'm going to do, Mr. Ferguson, I don't mean to interrupt, we're just trying to go through this. So I would like, could you make the motion on this? Would you like to do that?
So we have a motion and a second on the table, right? So we would have to make an amended motion.
Motion to amend.
A motion to amend
With that language.
With that
Right.
language.
Okay.
You got to give that language to Rick, so he can write it in.
Okay.
So go, are you making the motion to?
Sure, I make a motion to amend the resolution that has already been moved for under the now therefore be it resolved, section number 3, add a letter C that says county administration shall add a regular member to the governance committee and the personnel committee from the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners appointed annually at reorganization to the agreement establishing the Central Municipal Court of Atlantic County.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made,
Here, Rick.
second.
Thank you, ma'am.
I would like a roll call on the motion.
Can we read that again,
amend?
please?
Do you want to read it again? The amendment.
We're voting on the amendment, correct?
Well, I guess we're voting on the resolution, the amended resolution, correct?
Right.
Well,
No.
here's my suggestion. Why don't you vote to amend and approve this resolution with the amendment that I'm about to read to you? So you can do it all in one fell swoop, assuming you all agree with what I'm about to read to you.
Right.
You want to read it so you can get
because
your handwriting out there? Put it on the record?
Add that section C.
That's why.
County administration shall add a regular member to the governance committee and personnel committee from the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners appointed annually at reorganization to the agreement establishing the Central Municipal Court of Atlantic County. And that's the agreement. He has to go back and get all these other people to say, yeah, that's okay.
And that would be your new paragraph C in the resolution.
Correct.
Yes.
Got it. I'm going
Madam
to
Chair.
take action, Commissioner. if that's
So
okay.
noted.
We've
objection.
got a motion and a second on the floor. Okay,
No discussion.
So you're going to vote to amend and approve in one fell swoop.
After discussion,
what's that?
Dave still has a question.
Commissioner Days.
Well, no, I mean, I guess I don't. I mean, I thought we were going to be seconding to add the amendment. I didn't know it was to amend and approve together. So I was actually going to make a motion to table this until we got some more clarity, got other questions answered, but I guess I waited too long. So.
But Madam Chair, if I may, to my colleague, I thought, Rich, that what you're requesting is what we're voting on. We are voting to add a member. I thought that's what we all agreed to.
Right.
Maybe I missed something.
I mean,
You're right.
Okay.
No, but I want to make sure my colleague over there understand. What you talked about is what we're doing. It's a little confusing over here. It became confused over here when Esquire over here started talking, and she confused me. But I think, seriously, what you're talking about is what we just amended. At least I missed something.
I think he's saying he has other questions. But...
Other questions on what? The budget?
Wait a minute.
Well, no,
So we have a motion and a second on the floor to amend and approve.
Correct. To
Okay.
vote on the resolution as amended, yes.
Now, do we have any other comments from the commissioners on
The
this?
resolution.
On the resolution?
And
That
Madam
as
Chair, with all due respect, I still think Rich is still talking about the resolution.
Yes.
So we're cutting him off and he's asking questions
Right,
about the
that's
resolution.
what I'm saying. That's what she's
I don't-
asking him.
Right.
Ask your question.
No, I mean, I don't have any more questions. It just seems like there were answers we were still waiting to receive, is what I was saying. I mean, a couple of times you would get back to us on costs, get back to us on whether, this is going to even be okay. I mean, we can say what we want. I still don't, if somebody has a problem down the road, it's moot, but moving forward.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call?
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Dorsey?
No.
Days?
Abstain.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ferguson, would you please do me a favor?
Yes.
Don't come to the next meeting. If you come in here with that attitude at the next meeting, I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna go down the hallway. We're gonna have a conversation. But appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
At this time,
Yeah.
we can open to the public on that resolution.
Yeah, we didn't open to the public.
We need to open to the public on that.
Yes, you do. On the resolution, you do. Correct.
No, that was for the ordinance. The resolution, we can open to the public.
Come on up to the podium.
Be out of your way in a second here.
Madam Chair, I see somebody identify as a member of the PBA coming, and I just want you to know I'm recused from commenting on matters between the PBA and the board.
Okay.
So I'm going to defer to Mr. Ferguson on any matters in that regard.
Okay, thank you.
Without objection.
All right, so my name is Andrew Fruto. I'm the president of the PBA, 243 Atlantic.
Get off so we can hear you.
All right. My name is Andrew Fruto. I'm the president of PBA 243. I represent the Atlantic County Sheriff's Office. One of the things is, one of the questions I was going to have is why wasn't this considered to be in the Mains Landing courthouse, which already has established courtrooms and courthouses already? Wouldn't that save money instead of rebuilding new courtrooms and refurbishing courthouses? That's already an established courthouse. Why wasn't that one of that considered? And you would already have established security there for most of the day, and then you would only have to cover a couple hours at the end of the day. So you wouldn't need security for the whole time. Why wasn't that considered?
I can answer that. Judge Mendez, that option was raised by the sheriff, apparently in conversations with Judge Mendez, and Judge Mendez vetoed that idea because there just wouldn't be room with the courtrooms that are taken up by the Superior Court criminal judges, and then having 3 or 4 municipal court judges coming into that building on a daily, almost daily basis. It wouldn't work.
Thank you.
And I don't know that. That's what the assignment judge of Superior Court decided.
I should have started out. First of all, I want to make sure that I'm okay with the municipal court. I'm not against the countywide municipal court, so that's not our standard. I do believe that it should be sheriff's work, like you said you believe it should be. One of the problems we have with private security is they don't have the authority to make arrests. You say that there's municipal departments that do arrests, that do private security in municipal courts, but they're attached to police departments. So when they have to make arrests, police officers are readily available. So what is your plan for if you have to make an arrest for like a DWI, which is a mandatory arrest, is 180, it's a mandatory 180 and they have to be taken into custody. What's the plan for that? With private security, who's going to take them into custody?
The plan would be they would be held there, and since the court will be located within the confines of Hamilton Township. Hamilton Township Police would be called and would respond, just like they do when somebody commits an offense. If they shoplift from Walmart and they're detained and they have to be taken into custody and taken over to the county jail, Hamilton Township Police respond.
So the plan is for Hamilton Township to respond.
And unless the sheriff is agreeable to coming over and responding and doing the pickup, that would be fine too. I don't care how it gets done. I really don't. And again, Andrew, just so we're clear on this, okay? We reached out to the sheriff first. I mean, a lot of people have come back and say, why isn't the sheriff doing this? And I agree. Why isn't your department doing it? Apparently, because the price is just, I gotta be honest with you, it's just astronomical. You know, this whole concept is set up in order to try to save money for the municipalities. If we're turning around and throwing a load of money at security, which isn't necessary in the opinion of somebody who I believe is a real expert on security, and that's our public safety director, Mr. Fedorko, then, you know, I have a problem. But we'll see what happens next week. There's going to be another meeting.
And you think private security, and this is no offense to older officers and retired officers, you think private security is the best to deal with people? And I know it's been this before, but people are there for domestic violence at times. And people are there, you think private security is best to handle situations when you have people there for assault, domestic violence, and dealing with people that you're telling to sit down. Oh, just wait, someone's going to come and arrest you. You think that's the best way to handle it when the sheriff's department is trained and goes through a full academy? I mean, and it's no offense to a retired officer, but they're much older and they're retired for years and they have the training, but.
Sir, if you don't mind, I
Okay.
think Commissioner Ballas has a statement.
Andrew, I think everybody wants the sheriff's office to do it, but somehow you, Mr. Ferguson, us, whoever, needs to get the sheriff to the table and come up with a reasonable proposal.
That's right.
You know, not a whole new platoon that's going to come in and, you know, work that courthouse. You know how many people you need. He knows how many people you need. Okay?
And the sentiment is, you don't need an 11-member platoon over there to do it. And I'm not a law enforcement expert by any means, but just looking at the layout there, I as a layman know you don't need 11 people there, and you especially don't need 2 sergeants and a lieutenant supervising 8 other officers. That's ridiculous.
Okay, but that was, you know, a good comment as well to get to that. So, sorry.
That's all the questions I have right now.
Again, I didn't fully answer your question. In a perfect world, yes, the sheriff should be doing this work and would probably, in all phases, in terms of being able to arrest right there and transport, would be optimal. But things have to be balanced here. And, you know, given the fact that this is still a municipal court, okay, it's not a superior court that's being conducted there. If it were, then there'd be no question. The sheriff would have to do it.
I'm still concerned about the safety of the public because things happen in municipal courts too. So it's not just money for our members. Yes, that is my job, but it is the safety of the public, the judges, and the employees. That still is a concern.
And thank
too.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And caring. We
Thank you.
understand. You know,
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else from the public?
Madam Chair, I think Karen has a question.
Yeah, I just want to know, Mr. Ferguson, what kind of contract commitment are you making with the security company in case, you know, something isn't as you would expect or hope it would be? How could you get out of it?
Well, we don't have a contract signed yet, and nothing is going to happen there until we have this further meeting with the sheriff and see if all we got from them was a quote and a proposal that Mr. Fedorko has reviewed and is satisfied that would do the trick for us. But the plan would be to have a one year agreement with provisions in it that obviously if a court or some agency ruled that we can't do this, but I would just remind you, the plan that went up to Judge Grant had the language in about private security. And the court is the final arbiter of that. And the administrative director of the Office of the Courts, who is himself a judge, approved the plan as written in that area. So I don't see the problem. Again, is it the optimum thing that we would want? No, but it's, it is what it is.
Madam Chair? Just one suggestion, Jim. I know you guys have the ear of the legislature. Means there had to be new laws in order to make this happen. A while back, the law was changed where sheriff's officers could hire Class 2 officers, but only if you have a county police department. Maybe that legislation needs to be changed, that if you have a joint municipal court, then you can hire Class 2s also. And that could possibly, between a mix of regular sheriff's officers and Class 2 officers, that could probably make that proposal work.
No, I don't disagree. Again, but getting something through the legislature might be, and
well, they want this as bad as you do.
yeah, they do.
There you go.
They finally went back in session, so that's.
Or at least the sponsor of the legislation did. That was Senator Sweeney, who I say was most helpful on this.
Right.
Couldn't have been more helpful.
All right, thank you.
There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Commissioner, what's that?
Public portion closed yet?
Do we have anybody else from the public?
Come here tonight to welcome a new member to the Freehold. We're not utilizing.
You need to introduce
I'm sorry.
yourself. Give your towel.
Joe Donahue, prior member, state delegate for 243 PBA, and 41-year law enforcement, to include both criminal and civil. Something this board should both consider tonight. Criminal is one thing, civil is another. By having private security, you're leaving yourself open to civil litigation at a later date. They do not have the training, they do not have the wherewithal, and even police officers such as myself, who carry weapons daily and permitted to do so, don't have enough updated training. I speak about this because I know I am the SORA training officer for several security agencies. That means I train the men and women that are going to come and take care of your court, Mr. Ferguson. And I can tell you that it's 2 8-hour days of training, which is not sufficient to take public safety at stake here. There is no dollar amount should be met for public safety. There is absolutely no excuse to consider anything other than certified, trained police personnel to take care of this court. Municipal court has become dangerous. Maybe you're not aware of it, but recently in Atlantic City, at a domestic dispute, a shooting occurred from a private security officer. That's what happens when you don't have proper training and updated training. Police officers are trained constantly to be proficient in the law, have a complete understanding and concept of public and police training. They don't have that private security. They do not. I can assure you of that. I've made this argument to the state as well. I had no intention of speaking here tonight. I came here to hopefully welcome Andrew Parker to his seat. And I heard about this, and I watched and I listened to this whole debacle. And I thank Commissioner Coursey for his concern and his understanding, and I thank Commissioner Ballas because I know his concern is for law enforcement and the training. I won't speak or condemn anybody who didn't come forth to the table prior to this night, but I will say to you, taking this forward, you should all consider not only your safety, but the public safety and anybody that's in that building. And you should also consider the ramifications of any civil litigation that comes from this at a later date that would arise out of improper training, especially with what our country's going through right now. and improper preparation on a police level. I'm speaking to you as a lifelong police officer, a prior member of the sheriff's office, as well as a municipal police agency, 41 years in both criminal and civil, certainly a representative as a state delegate for that PBA many years. I'm just sorry I didn't know about this sooner. I would have said something sooner. I would have come sooner. And unfortunately, I've been recently elected and have to make some of these decisions. And I will go back to Egg Harbor Township and to my colleagues and ask them to take a look at this policing problem, because it's a problem, folks. And I promise you, it's a problem if we don't do this properly. Again, I thank you. I thank you for the opportunity. I didn't have an intention to come here and do this, but it needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And I will tell you, this entire board is concerned about our public safety as well as.
I believe that.
Yes, we are. Anybody else for the public on this? Okay, the public portion is closed. I believe Commissioner Corsi may have another.
No, Madam Chair, I think I was saying to the chairwoman of the Budget Committee, maybe we need to call a special Budget Committee meeting and bring the sheriff in, and let's talk real numbers and find out what the real deal is. Because if we can do it in-house, we do it in-house, but numbers have to be right, and I get it. And the truth of the matter is this: we can't put a dollar tag on somebody's life. It can't happen. However, when we talk about outside security, and if y'all remember, every year we come up with the vote for the outside security, whether it's in the county libraries, I'm always arguing about it costing $1 million plus, and again, they can't make no arrests. Some of them do have guns, most of them don't. So we're familiar with the issue regarding safety issues. But I'm asking through you to the chair, if we can call a special meeting sooner rather than later and have the sheriff and whoever he wants to send to talk about this. This is a serious issue and we can't take it lightly. And God forbid if one of our relatives or somebody we go in and something happened, we have, for example, in Atlanta, we have armed police officers in our courts. So we get it. The gentleman was talking about the incident in Atlantic City the other night. It was unfortunate. A security guard had to resort to a shooting because of the threat that the woman was in the building. So again, somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong, but at the end of the day, somebody got shot. And again, when we talk about public safety, there's no dollar tag we can put on it. So again, if we can.
Well, I would like that. I like things going to committee because that helps us, instead of having to do everything here all the time. But it's good to go to committee, and I would appreciate that. So thank you, and that's a great recommendation. Okay. If we are right into our resolutions, Resolution 577.
No, we did vote on it.
Do you want to revote?
We did.
My recommendation, I know you've pained yourself to go through all this, but
Because we.
I would revote, given that you just heard public comment.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's my recommendation.
Okay, revote. Okay, we'll have a revote.
To revote it as approved, it's already read on the record.
As amended.
As amended, sorry.
So we need a motion and a second to revote.
Yes.
Right?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, the motion's made and second. Any comments?
Just go on
Thank
my
you. Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
And still waiting for information from committees. I'm going to abstain again.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 577, please.
Amending Resolution Number 444, adopted October 6, 2020, a grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Health for the local public health overdose fatality review teams 2021 to extend the term date, amount not to exceed $200,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments?
Sorry, Jen and Kara, we should have moved that up
Oh,
after
yeah.
your presentation. I'm sorry.
Well, you got a baptism. They don't work out. You got a good baptism. They don't work out.
Which number is theirs?
It was the presentation.
Oh, the whole presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one.
Okay.
This resolution.
Okay, any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public?
Seeing none.
Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 578.
Grant application to the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Aging Services for the Older Americans Act 2022 Area Plan Contract Grant, amount not to exceed $1,729,651.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Any from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 579.
Grant acceptance from the New Jersey Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse for participation in the Alliance to Prevent Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, amount not to exceed $304,857.81.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 580, please.
Grant application to the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the replacement of Lakes Creek Bridge EH 29 project, amount not to exceed $2,438,853.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 581.
Grant application to the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Urban Gateway Enhancement Program, amount not to exceed $32,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Any from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 582.
Grant acceptance from the State of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Office of the Attorney General for the state fiscal year 2021 body worn camera grant program, amount not to exceed $71,330.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 583.
Grant application to the New Jersey Transit United States Department of Transportation for Section 5311 funding pursuant to the Federal Transit Act, amount not to exceed $150,000.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolution number 584 to 587, chapter 159.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 588, please.
Renewal agreements with various vendors for the provision of youth shelter beds, amount not to exceed $110,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 589.
Competitive contract with Infotech Incorporated provide cloud-hosted electronic bidding services and support for the Atlantic County Purchasing Office, amount not to exceed $103,250.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Commissioner
Question,
Fitzpatrick.
please. So, I'm thinking that this is gonna make it a lot less cumbersome for vendors to bid with us, right?
I would hope so, yes.
Are we gonna mark it so that new vendors know? Okay,
Yes,
that's,
I would be, probably, even if I'm our purchasing agent, she will have something going, correct, and explaining this.
Okay, and who is that gonna go to? I mean, how are you
It'll
gonna?
go, it'll go to existing vendors and there'll be articles in the paper about how to.
For new vendors.
Yes, correct.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioner comments? Okay. Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 590.
Renewal bid contract with Civic Plus Incorporated to include the ability to utilize the system for community notifications that may not be emergency in nature and for internal notification by county departments. Amount not to exceed $30,900.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Jimmy?
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes again.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 591.
Renewal bid contract with Action Uniform Company Limited Liability Corporation for the provision of uniforms for the Atlantic County Sheriff Office and Office of Emergency Management at an amount not to exceed $59,700.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino? Bertino?
Yes again. 3 yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 592, please.
Bid contract with Panoramic Window and Door Systems Incorporated for renovations to the windows and siding at the Stillwater Building Bridge in Northfield. Amount not to exceed $160,000.
Everybody move that one.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any commissioner comments?
A lot of windows.
Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to Resolution 593.
Bertino's resolution.
What's that?
Bid contract with
Martino's
Patriot
resolution.
Roofing Incorporated for the roof replacement at the Hamilton Branch Library, amount not to exceed $444,669.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 594.
Bid contract with Gentilini Ford to provide 3 2021 or newer refrigerated heated food delivery vehicles, amount not to exceed $191,031.57.
Motion. Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Jerry, how long do they last?
Well,
10 years,
when I
5
was
years?
doing it, I would say anywhere between 8 and 10 years, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 595.
Bid contract with JDJ Pets Incorporated, doing business as Pets Plus and Legend Plus White Animal Health Corporation, to furnish and deliver animal food to the Atlantic County Animal Shelter. Amount not to exceed $36,618.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to Ernst's favorite part of the meeting. Change orders. Resolution 596, please.
Change order number 1, contract with Abel's Cleaning Agency, Limited Liability Corporation, to add a Seacon Library to the list of various locations for cleaning services. Net increase $9,760.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Hey,
Yeah, Commissioner Ballas.
Jerry, is this just for the remainder of the year, or is how long is that 10 grand basically?
That's a year.
That's for
an
the full
annual.
year?
That's correct, yes.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 597, please.
Change order number 1, contract with Garozzo Shamika Construction Incorporated for the One-Stop Career Center exterior renovation project to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 598, please.
Change order number 1, contract with El Ferriazzi Concrete Company for pedestrian and traffic signal improvements of 28 signalized intersections along County Route 629 in Longport, Margate, Ventnor, and Atlantic City. Net increase $157,228.35.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 599, please.
Lease agreement with the City of Summers Point for library facilities amount not to exceed $35,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 600.
Agreement with Rowan University School of Osteopathic Medicine for community health workers for COVID response and resilient communities grant funds amount not to exceed $262,500.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 601.
Agreement with Children's Specialized Hospital for the provision of special child health services amount not to exceed $17,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 602.
Resolution to comply with the Department of Human Services requirement for a standardized resolution to be filed with the 2022 area plan by the Atlantic County Division of Intergenerational Services.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Any comments from the public? Okay, seeing, hearing none, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 603.
Business Associate Agreement between the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Aging Services, and the Atlantic County Office on Aging to be included with the Older Americans Act 2022 area plan.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 604.
Renewal alternate method contract with Point Click Care Technologies Incorporated for the furnishing of software modules to Meadowview Nursing and Rehabilitation Center for billing and electronic medical record tasks. Amount not to exceed $73,648.44.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 605.
Alternate method contracts to establish a pool of providers for individual training account services with various education and training institutions for fiscal year 2021. Amount not to exceed $1 million.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 606.
Alternate method contract with the Acela Incorporated for software licensing and maintenance. Amount not to exceed $36,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 607.
Amending Resolution Number 38, adopted January 19, 2021, an EUS contract with the Atlantic Prevention Resources to provide an overdose fatality review team, amount not to exceed $170,000.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion has been made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? No? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 608.
Amending Resolution Number 589, adopted November 17, 2020, an agreement with the State of New Jersey Department of Health to provide medical examiner services for 4 years and 9 months. Amount not to exceed $1,550,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino? Bertino?
Yes again.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 609.
Resolution supporting an application to be submitted by the City of Absecon for the New Jersey Department of Transportation Safe Routes to School Program funding.
Motion.
Motion second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 610.
Memorandum of Agreement with CWA 1036 Assistant Prosecutors and authorizing a formal written collective bargaining agreement incorporating the terms of the MOA for a 5-year period commencing January 1, 2020.
Move.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 611.
Memorandum of Agreement with PBA Local 77 Rank and File Detectives and authorizing a formal written collective bargaining agreement incorporating the terms of the MOA for a 5-year period commencing January 1, 2021.
Move.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners?
One,
Commissioner
yeah, this is just for Rick. Being as I'm a life member of PBA 77.
I would recuse yourself from it. That's, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, any comments from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Recused.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 612.
Alternate method contract with Iman Associates to continue assisting the county to implement the county option hospital fee program. Amount not to exceed $55,000 for a 2-year program.
Move.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 613.
Resolution requesting a transfer in the 2021 budget in accordance with the provision of NJS 48:4-58.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yeah.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 615.
Appointment of Carol Phillips to the Library Advisory Commission for a term to expire on January 1, 2024.
Motion.
Motion?
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 616.
Authorizing consent for a roadway solicitation event by Morgantown Volunteer Fire Company Number 2 at the intersection of Ocean Heights Avenue, County Route 559, and Zion Road, County Route 615, in Egg Harbor Township on Saturday, December 4, 2021, and Sunday, December 5, 2021, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yeah, yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 618.
Resolution supporting the efforts of Congressman Van Drew, Senator Booker, and Senator Menendez in opposing potential changes to the Federal Aviation Administration operations. Sponsors, Commissioner Richard R. Days and Commissioner Frank X. Ballas.
Move.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Yeah,
Commissioner Days?
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I read the article about some changes that were proposed to the operations, the organization of the FAA. And, a couple of weeks ago, a lot of us attended the South Jersey Commissioner meeting where Mr. Moore and the head of the Aviation Research Park, Harold Kyle, I'm talking about some exciting things that are moving forward and some things that, the county's been able to accomplish out there at the research park. And, I just was concerned and kind of following up on Congressman Van Drew and Senator Menendez's and Senator Booker's concerns that anything that may be done on the national level may hinder our opportunities and our plans to continue to move forward to provide diversified employment opportunities out there at the FAA and to Technology Park. So I just thought it was important as a follow-up that we also expressed our concern and our support for our representatives in fighting any proposed changes.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other? Commissioner Ballas?
Thank you. Again, I agree with what Commissioner Days just stated. It's not too often where you get bipartisan support on something like this. We have it here all the time, but when you get on the federal level,
We do?
most of the time.
Okay.
But when you get on the federal level, as you know, it's right down the aisle. And listen, this hits home with us. We're finally getting, excuse the term, but we're finally getting that airport and that center off the ground. And there's some great things that are happening out there. And why the federal government chooses to pick the FAA Technical Center to hinder some of the operations that are going on out there. I'm glad that Senator Menendez, Senator Booker, and Congressman Van Drew, and hopefully everybody else there will back us up on this. We need more than just gaming here. We need that technical center. We need that aviation research park. And we can't have anything, throw a roadblock in our way. So whatever we can do, whatever voice we have here as commissioners, we need to, scream as loud as we can to make sure that nothing stands in our way to make this the premier center in the entire country.
Yeah, I agree. Any other commissioner comments? Okay, yeah, and I think that they've actually tried to do this before, and we did have some very strong legislators, within the state go against it, so we will continue to do so. Okay, anything from the public? No? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 619.
Resolution to change the November public meeting schedule to cancel the November 16, 2021 meeting and set a new meeting date on November 23rd, 2021.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing
Wonder
hearing
why.
none. Anything from the public?
I wonder
Give a
why.
Roll call. What?
I'm just joking.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That concludes the written portion of our agenda this evening. Any reports of special committees of the board? Okay, seeing none. Any unfinished business? Seeing, hearing none. Any new business? Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. So a couple of weeks ago, I asked Jerry to tell me how much we've spent on the Dorset Avenue Bridge in the last 20 years.
A lot.
$7.8 million.
A lot. Yes.
$7.8 million. And so I would like to publicly request that when you start talking about money from this infrastructure bill,
Right.
we do something with that bridge. Because it's just not fair. The county has to fix the bridge, the city is inconvenienced by the bridge, and it goes over federal water. It should be their problem, in my opinion.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other new business? Okay, we've received copies of written communications and petitions. Any commissioner comments?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Bennett.
Just want to mention, I did receive, speaking of Congressman Van Drew, I received a note from one of his advisors in his office, Haddon Antonucci, who we've worked with very closely on the application for the federal grant funding with regard to the Lenape Dam. I haven't heard yet if that was in the infrastructure bill, but he did send an email recognizing, like we had mentioned when he asked for our top kind of 3 or 4 major areas that need investment. The dam was one of them, and another one that Commissioner Dace and I had put on the list was the Route 322, Route 30 and Cologne Avenue intersection, which, you know, we bring that up regularly. As an aside, I'm sure you all have seen that there has basically been an accident there every other week over the last, Rich, how many, 6 months? And Commissioner Dace has done a great job staying engaged with the businesses on that corner. And we actually did finally get Vanessa from the NJ State DOT to come down and actually tour that intersection and see the things that we've been complaining about. So kudos to Commissioner Dace, who every time there's an accident, he gets the pictures and he gets a report, and we are now basically sending them to Vanessa every single time. Back to Van Drew, he mentioned that in the infrastructure bill there is specific money that potentially the Cologne Route 30 intersection could fit into as an eligible intersection for improvements, and he was reaching back out to say, you know, let's talk about this again and see if we can put that in. I just thought it was great that, you know, our concerns are staying on the list, which is good, and certainly we will provide all the data that we need for that piece. And again, waiting to hear on the dam. But we also probably will be bringing another resolution for some kind of action again on that intersection with the number of accidents that we've seen there. It's just really ridiculous. It's like I said, it's frequent, and at least Vanessa is somewhat listening. Her hands seem to be kind of tied too. But I think we have to somehow keep the pressure and let them know that we are not letting it go. So whether that's a resolution every month or something that recognizes the new stats and the new accidents, you know, whatever it needs to be done, we just really need to keep the pressure on with regard to that intersection, because it's dangerous.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I thank both you and Commissioner Days for staying on top of that. having our voice heard.
Yeah.
So kudos to both of you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I could just follow up with Commissioner Gatto. Two things. One, call them crashes, because none of them happen by accident. There's always a contributing factor as to why two cars impact each other, and it's a crash, and it doesn't happen by accident. Maybe that'll get our point across to them. Have they done any design or any kind of design phase for any improvements there?
Yeah, I'll get you a copy of the resolution. We might have passed it before you came on the board. That outlines everything, that has told us that they will make this a priority and they will work on getting this done as soon as possible. But that was like 5-6 years ago now.
But they have a design.
They have a design. The big issue
So it's shovel ready.
has been getting the rights of way completed. And what they did was there was like a pile of projects. Jerry, you'll correct me if I'm wrong here on this. There was like a pile of projects in the area. Ones that didn't need rights of way stuff, they put those first and like did them. Then they piled, there was like 4 projects I think that needed right of way acquisition and approvals. They put them all together. So they're basically, none of them can go forward until all of that work is done on all 4 of them, rather than prioritizing project by project and pursuing it, as its own thing. So that's the biggest delay is what we're being told is the acquisition of the right of way. The last letter I think we had said, we're gonna make that a priority, we're gonna get this done. Here we go.
Exactly. And now it's nicely paved and nice and smooth, so you'll have faster speeds and more serious crashes.
Exactly.
I come through there today. DOT, it was on both sides of the highway, redoing lighting and.
Yeah, except they're not putting a turn signal in and they're not painting a lane. That's what they could simply do right now. I mean, now I'm an engineer, but
really,
practicing engineering, not law. But simply, all you need to do is paint a left turn lane and put a left turn signal the same way in both directions. That is just a minor fix that could help at least until the bigger stuff is done. It's just so ridiculous to me. But anyway, I'm off my soapbox.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have any other written communications? Anything? Okay. We'll open to the public portion for comments. Anyone that would like to speak, please come to the podium and state your name and where you reside. Okay, that brings us to any comments for the good of the order.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
So we do all know that Thursday is Veterans Day as we salute our veterans, and certainly we hope that we participate in our various communities. And as the old saying would say, when you see a vet, you think of that. And we certainly want to thank all of them for their services and keep them all in our prayers and thoughts.
Thank you, Commissioner. And in that regard, we also have the Atlantic County Veterans Museum will be open to visitors on Thursday, November 11th in honor of Veterans Day from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay. Any other thing for the good of the order? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We got 3 minutes.
Thank you all.
Richard's fault. I just been out here.
Rich Days is still deserves time.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Rich Days still.
No, I think Ernie killed it.
Okay.